Welcome to the funnel. My name is John Shade. I'm president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 222 of the funnel. Bad sales managers and their negative impact. Before we get started, I want to ask you to head on over to alignment-group.com/the funnel or the sales library page, and we have the first installment of the Best Of series, the Best Of the Funnel podcast and Insights blog. We decided to take specific topics and group them together in ebooks to give you an easy access to a specific subject matter. In this case, the first installment is the 6-step sales hiring process. So the Best Of series is covering the 6-step sales hiring process. You download the ebook, you have access to all 7 podcasts and the 5 blog posts we've written on the series. And there's a little bit of information on each of the steps. And then you can click on it and listen to the podcast or watch the video, and you don't have to go to the website and search for information on hiring sales reps. It's all in the ebook. So head on over to alignmentgroup.com and download that ebook. Agenda: what bad thing happens? Sales is the fallback. Focus on the wrong stuff and no consistency. So what bad thing happens? So we've all heard the narrative, right? That a sales manager got the job because they were the best salesperson in the company. And that connection is wrong. Just because they were a great sales rep doesn't mean they'll make a great sales manager. And part of that's true, right? We see that a lot. And I've talked about it, and you can read hundreds of blog posts about it. I think it's a little deeper than that. I think a lot of times companies feel like they invest so much in sales training and they develop these people that the natural transition out of all that training and development and success is success at management. What they don't understand is that the training for management is different than the training for sales rep. The investment is different. Yes, a great sales rep can become a great manager. We don't know that just by looking at their numbers or their success in sales. We know that through an interview process and all the things that go along with hiring a manager, because you should do that. And then you should do what you do with your sales reps. Put a foundation in place for them to be successful. The problem is there's not a whole lot of investment in training for sales managers. And that creates a poor scenario for success. So you have a bad coach on a team, the likelihood the team's going to have success is minimal. It has a negative impact on performance. That's the biggest impact. That's one. 2, it makes it really harder to find good people and keep good people. It's a negative impact. They don't know how to lead, so they're losing people, or they're not hiring the right people, where their performance as a manager is affecting the performance of the team. And it happens a lot. So sometimes you don't have to look any further than the manager. Some of you managers are listening to this saying, oh, wow. I'm not saying fire your managers because they're not good. I'm saying they need help. They need training. They need development. You need it if you're a manager. Don't think you can get away with not having it. Sales is the fallback. I get it. This is my comfort zone. This is what I do. I can get in the car. I can charge it out in the field. I can run up the hill, slay the dragon, whatever you want to say, right? Bring back the meat, as a consultant I used to work with or listen to back in the day when I was being trained. He used to say, they bring back the meat. So, there's a comfort level there. So they're falling back on that as their plan B, so to speak. And that's a problem, right? The sales that they do gives them joy. It builds their confidence. And it puts them in a position where they feel like they can lead the team, manage the team, tell the team what to do. But really what they're doing is they're having a negative impact. They're having a negative impact because it's taking away from leadership. It's taking away from development. It's taking away from coaching. If they're out there selling, how can they do those other things? It's not a very good situation. When you fall back on sales and this is what you do, you're hurting the team. And some might say, well, it's a great example. I go in there and I show them how to do it. Well, I got to tell you, the way that salespeople get better is to work with them and coach them and develop them and let them do it themselves. I try to spend a lot of time when I'm coaching folks in the context of what they're doing. Tell me about your situations. Tell me about what's happening on a daily basis. This is how the conversation should go. This is the way it should be done. Sometimes I listen in on that. Sometimes I'm there with them when they do it, and we talk about it. I don't just do it for them. Yes, there is something about observing somebody else work and then kind of manage through that. But that's not what a bad sales manager does. They don't use that as part of the role and then do the coaching and development. They use sales as the fallback, and they go out and sell. And that's how they make the numbers work. In many cases, they go out and they close deals for reps, or they make deals happen, and they get in by the skin of their teeth. But over time, that will breed failure. Some folks say, well, I've been doing it a long time this way, and it's worked fine for me. Yeah, well, maybe it has. Maybe your company has no desire to grow at a level that it potentially could grow because you're stifling that growth. And that's up to your company. That's up to you. But I'm telling you, it's not a very good long-term solution. They focus on the wrong stuff. I put LOL on the screen because it happens all the time. Now, you sit down with a bunch of sales reps and you have drinks with them, or breakfast or lunch. They're going to tell you stories about all the crazy stuff their bosses and their companies require from them. Quarterly, all-day business reviews that provide no real value other than make the VP of sales feel comfortable because they asked you tough questions about business you're going to bring in. It's silliness. Or a manager that spends the vast majority of their time with poor or underperforming sales reps. Why do you think they do that? Because they think they're helping. If I have a really poor and underperforming sales rep, I'm making decisions on them. I'm not spending all my time trying to build them up. Middle of the road sales reps, that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck. Helping them get better at what they do. And your higher end and your top end reps getting better at what they do. So if someone's performing at 130% of their number, maybe you can get them to 150 or 160. Somebody that's performing at 95 or 80% of their number, you can get them to 130. Someone's performing at 30 to 40% of their number, seriously? You spend your time on that? They waste their time on the wrong stuff. They focus on the wrong activities and the wrong numbers. And they push a narrative that makes no sense. So what happens when you do that and you're a bad manager? Again, you lose the confidence of your team. You lose good sales reps. And when you hire bad sales reps, if you're a bad manager and you hire bad sales reps, they'll accept it because some of the activities are just that. They're just things on a list to do to make their manager happy. So when you focus on the wrong things, the wrong metrics, the wrong people, you're not performing at a high level. You're not leading your team. A bad sales manager will do that. Now, again, the term bad sales manager doesn't mean they're a bad person. In some cases, maybe they were never meant to be a sales manager, and that's a problem. In other cases, they've never been trained, so they're only following the model that's been laid out for them. So they don't know how to do it, and there's no one there to teach them and help them. And if you're in a situation and you want to learn, and you are a manager and you're not getting that support, go find it. Invest in yourself. There's plenty of people out there that do that. And I would suggest you do the same. No consistency. This one hurts. This one hurts because it creates a very volatile situation. So think about it in the world of school. Think about it in the world of kids. If you change your mind all the time in school or with little kids, they get confused about the difference between right and wrong. Or the punishments don't work. Because if you threaten to punish and you really don't follow through on it, then what have you done? And they know they can get away with it. Or if you punish them and then they can talk their way out of it, they figure that out. It's the same here. Bad sales managers have different rules for different people. They're moving targets, right? So that creates a problem. Now, others would say that, well, if you're exceeding your number and you're consistently a high performer, that you should be exempt from certain things. And my response to that is poppycock. You shouldn't be exempt from anything. And if you're exempting people from things, maybe what you're exempting them from isn't worth doing in the first place. Yes, people who perform at a high level don't know that it's special treatment, but they make more money. Maybe they have an office. I don't know what your deal is with that. They get higher bonuses, better opportunities. That's fine. That's called career development and growth. There's things that you can do for high performers that can help them develop and help them grow. But changing the rules for different people, that's a problem. Or just changing them in general and not having a real sort of standard in place of leadership. Like a bad manager doesn't lay out what success looks like and then helps their team develop and build towards that. There's no clear vision on exactly what it is that they want. There's no follow-up or follow-through. So a lot of times you see really good sales reps, what do? They provide good suggestions on how to better manage your team, or good suggestions on a product or pricing or something that's of real value to you. And you say, that's a really good idea as a manager, and you don't follow through, expecting them just to take the ball and run with it. Seriously? As a manager, you need to take the ball and run with that. If you think it's a good idea, you need to explore it, determine if it's going to work, and then make it become part of the standard. That's your role. There's no consistency in the work level. And that's not the best way to say that, but what happens is they get caught up doing stuff every day. They get behind, and it shows in their work. So sometimes they have a lot of time for you, not a lot, but maybe they sit down with you and they go in the field and they coach you and they meet with you, but then they get busy and they stop that because they have stuff to do. That's poor prioritization of their time. Again, no consistency. It's a moving target. So you don't know what to expect from. Oh, here it goes again. So-and-so is on his or her high horse. We have to do this for a couple of months. Then they'll get tired of it, and we can move on to doing our work. That's a red flag that you have a problem. It's a red flag if you hear a senior rep say, I don't talk to the new reps until they've been here for at least a year, because they don't make it. They die on the vine. That tells you you have a problem with bad management. Somebody's not managing their team properly. There are no performance standards, no consistency in performance standards. What is it that you need me to do to be successful? And what does that look like? What's the plan? How are you going to coach me? How are you going to develop me? How are you going to train me? And how do I need to perform in the eyes of the company, in the eyes of you, to be successful? They really don't know how to do that. Again, no consistency. It's not being done properly. The negative impact is far-reaching when these things are in place. First and foremost, the revenue targets might be hit because they're low, or the company has low expectations, or they're reasonable. You're saying, well, if they're reasonable, what I mean, reasonable in the eyes of the manager. And the manager can go out and slay a dragon or two and make those numbers work, can push their senior people to do a little bit extra and overcome the fact that the bottom portion of the sales force isn't doing anything, Or maybe they run in the field and they help the bottom portion of the sales force get a little bit of extra business. But the negative impact is far-reaching. Why? Because the growth just doesn't happen. It doesn't go where you need it to go. 1. 2, recovery from that takes forever. Again, use the sports team analogy. A really bad team takes years to turn it around in professional sports. I don't care what sport you're playing, whether it's football, rugby, the other football, Australian rules football, lacrosse, it doesn't matter. A bad team takes years to turn around. A bad manager with bad players on their team takes years to turn that around. First, you have to find a good manager. Then they have to begin to turn around the team. They have to put performance standards in place. They have to create some consistency and structure. They have to get their senior people in line who have never had to worry about that in the past, and they have to get their mediocre players moved up. They have to move on from the low-end players and hire really good players to come in and backstop that. And oh, by the way, they have to do all of this and hope that they have no attrition. They don't lose the good people in the process. It's hard to fix. The negative impact, again, is far-reaching there. The other area where it's far-reaching is you're affecting the careers of the people that work for you as a manager. The bad managers are affecting those careers. They're breeding more bad managers. Or they're pushing people out of sales that should have a really great career in sales. They're affecting the people that work for them in a negative way. And that's never good. Head on over to alignment-group.com/the funnel and subscribe. You can find us on all the social media outlooks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. You can reach me, Jay Shea, at alignment-group.com, and, of course, the website, alignment-group.com. Again, thank you for subscribing. And as always, until next time, keep filling the funnel.